Welcome back to our Lent series, Go Without, Go Within. And again, Lent is the season before the resurrection, Easter Sunday. And what we do is we focus on the sufferings and the death of Christ in order to be truly ready to celebrate the resurrection of Christ. And traditionally, Lent means that we take things away as a sacrifice in order to focus better on Christ. And we're doing that, but we're doing something else, is we are not just taking something away, but we're adding something in that place to deliberately focus. So here we are on week 3. I'm really grateful if you have been with us on this 3-week journey. And you might find that at this time, you kind of end up forgetting about Lent or falling off. Just take God's grace, get back on, and we'll move forward. What we did in week 1 as a symbol of clarity and purity and simplicity is we decided that for liquids, we were going to have water only from 3 p.m. until we went to bed each day throughout Lent. In the second week, I taught you some meditation techniques, and these were not Eastern or mystic or pagan techniques. It's a Christian technique, basically to just help you center yourself in the presence of God, to spend time with God without distraction, and to not necessarily do anything in God's presence except absorb His goodness and His love. I have found it to be an invaluable practice, and if you want to learn more about that, you missed week 2, you can look at my channel and where you found this video, and it will be there. This week we're going to talk a little bit more about sacrificing things and choosing what to sacrifice. So we're looking at discretionary time, which is an interesting concept. Discretionary time means the time that we get to choose what we do. Now, when you're at work, you really can't choose whether or not you go to work. You're going to be there. And life is full of obligations that require you to show up for stuff. But we've got other time that we can choose what we do with it. And if we don't choose deliberately what to do with it, oftentimes we fall into what I call low restorative value actions. And you know what those are. They're the things that you just wish you did less of. Those are the things that you end up doing a lot of, and later on saying, man, I think I might have just wasted all my time. So in talking about this idea of discretion, the Bible talks quite a bit about discretion. And I want to look at 2 of the words that the Old Testament Hebrew uses to describe it. Now there's about 4 or 5 words that end up getting translated discretion. We're just going to look at 2 of them. The first one is shekel, which if you pronounce it the way we normally do when we read the Bible, it's shekel. And you know that it's a unit of weight, because I think we're told about Goliath's armor, how many shekels it weighed. But a shekel is also a unit of currency. So the idea in our spiritual lives of weight is that we weigh out whether or not something is good, pleasing, and of high value. And we use wisdom and understanding and insight and shrewdness. And this word is used in 1 Chronicles chapter 22, and I'll read verse 12. May the Lord give you discretion and understanding when He puts you in command over Israel, so that you may keep the law of the Lord your God. The other word is ta'am. So shekel was weight, and ta'am is taste, and it carries a similar idea. It's literal as far as tasting food, but it also has to do with our taste and our discernment. You might say someone has a really good taste for art or really good taste in music. It means that they're able to decide what is good, right, and wonderful. So the idea that we are to taste things and discern what's going on and whether or not they're good. So in Psalm 119:66, this word is used. Teach me knowledge and good judgment, for I trust your commands. Again, we are asked to figure out in this world what is pleasing and what is acceptable to God and to choose those things. So we have the idea of understanding and knowing and discerning what's right, but then we have the will to do it. And that's where we really need God, because oftentimes we kind of get an easy sense of what might not be right, but it's having the presence of God in our will that puts the wind at our back toward what is good, what is right, and what is pleasing. So that's this week's principle, and I can sum it up by saying using time with discretion leads to rejuvenation. Using time with discretion leads to rejuvenation. Now, let's get into the simple, practical Lent challenge for the week. Because again, if we don't choose what we do, we end up falling into stuff that, it could be terrible, or it could just be a general waste of time, which is kind of terrible. Anyway, here's 4 steps to this week's challenge. Step number 1, take a really careful look at the things in your life that waste time, that are low restorative time sinks. Okay? And we've mentioned what some of these commonly are. A lot of them end up being linked to the phone and apps and scrolling. Sometimes it's too much Netflix, watching too many things, but they have no or very, very low restorative value in your life. So take a good, careful look at those. And then I want you to rank, what's the chief offender? What is the biggest overall low restorative value time sink going on in your life right now? Step number 3, put it on an altar and get rid of it until Easter Sunday. Spend the next 3 weeks without it in your life. And, dig out a good space around it. In other words, if scrolling is an issue for you, get rid of all the scrolling apps. Don't touch them. Don't go near them. Let them go. Whatever it is, put it on the altar. Stay away from it. Now, again, we're all about making sure that we put something in place. And I'm going to give you some suggestions on what to put in place. You're an adult. I can't tell you exactly what to do, but I'll give you some general ideas. Replace that action with something that has a higher value of restoration for your life. Do a puzzle with your kids. Read a really good book. Go for a walk. Observe nature. You might like art. Doing art. You might like working with your hands, making things. Whatever it is that you're drawn to that has a nice high restorative value and it doesn't put your mind in that zombie time sink, do more of that, but be deliberate about it. Write down 5 or 6 things that you can do that have a higher restorative value and do those things in the time to replace it. And of course, there's always spending more time in your spiritual pursuits. So what I'm going to do, if you choose to do more of that, is I'm going to attach a PDF to this week's email. And I will also make some printed copies that are here at the church if you don't have a printer. But if you open up that PDF, you'll see 10 different things that I'm choosing to do with my spare time, and that they're overt, focused spiritual pursuits. And it has to do with reading certain scriptures or short stories I've read in the past, articles, even movies like Passion of the Christ. I know some people don't process that very well, but every couple of years I do watch it. So these are things that overtly build my spiritual life, and I want to do some more of that too. So if it helps, use that PDF. Glad you are here on this journey. I'm looking forward to the next several weeks together, and we will see you next week. Thank you.